Karen, welcome to our Sunday dinner.
Wow, looks good.
Corned
Thank
beef
you.
and cabbage. Have a seat.
It's good. So this is a Africville tradition?
African tradition, every Sunday we would have this, and you go throughout the community and it's all you smelt.
Yeah.
And of course, my mother's recipe is in the Africville Kitchen Cookbook.
Okay.
Can you imagine a full community coming together just so they can celebrate and be one with themselves? Man, that sounds so beautiful. I will make sure that their cookbook, if I can find it, will be listed in the comments below.
Yeah.
And the only difference when we made corned beef and cabbage in our house, when we sat down to peel our vegetables, my mother would sing a hymn and the family would join in the chorus.
Wow.
So that was made the difference. So it was a happy time.
Was happy.
Got together, get together. But
Oh my gosh, she just reminded me when I was a kid with my great grandmother, how I used to snap beans with her and pick the greens and help her clean them. I forgot all about that. Let me know in the comments, have you had those type of experiences?
before you can have your corned beef, we sprinkle a little bit of mustard.
Oh yeah. Gotta have the mustard.
Gotta have the mustard on the
Yeah.
corned beef and cabbage, yes.
Oops.
Even the table wants some.
Oh yeah. And can you tell me about the history of this and how it came about and about the ingredients? Like, were they growing in Africville? And
Some of the ingredients were grown in Africville. A lot of the meat we bought at the store, I'd say up over the hill,
right.
where they shopped. And we had stores in Africville, of course, but they were just like general stores, right? So we'd come, like I said, the meat process is to soak it overnight because it was always so salty. Corned beef is always done in a brine, and it was always so salty, so we would soak it overnight. And then the next day, as it was cooking on the stove, it takes about 3 hours to make corned beef and cabbage on the stove. So we cook it for about an hour, and then that last 2 hours we prepare the vegetables. And like I said, we would sit around the table, do the vegetables. My mother would be up there, and she'd be singing, and we'd be singing with her. And it was a fun time. And when we made this on Sundays in Africville, we always cut the vegetables up, and we put them in water to soak. That takes the starch out of them. And you cut them smaller because when you're feeding 12, 15 people, you need lots of vegetable. And that, of course, the process of cooking is that while your meat is boiling, you're getting the potatoes ready and your other vegetables. And what you would do, you start with putting your carrots, you turnip in first, and let them cook a while, about 5 minutes, and then you put your carrots in and let them cook about 5 minutes because they take the longest to cook. And then you put your cabbage in, and then you put your potatoes in. And you let your bowl dinner boil until it's done. After the meal is cooked, we're ready to serve. But the trick is to try to get to the meat, which is always at the bottom of the pot. So we take out some of the vegetables. First of all, the cabbage. We'll set it on the platter. And everything looks so good. So now we'll try to get our meat out. Put it on a cutting board so we can cut it up, get it ready for serving. So you want to cut it against the grain. I see nice sharp pieces of there. And whoever was visiting was sure to be fed before they left Africville.
And see, this is what I love. That tells me right then and there that it's in the foundation of most black people. She just said loud and clear, when you're hungry, before you leave Africville, you're fed. Now, please tell me, I can't speak on behalf of all people. I can only speak on the people I know, and that's people that look like me. I want you to tell me about the people that look like you. When you go to a granny's house You're hungry. Do she make sure by the time you leave, you're fed and you're full? You're taken care of? Let me know in the comments.
And of course, it's not corned beef and cabbage without the juice. So you go back to your pot. And those are all your flavors and juice.
This is a beautiful plate of food. It looks so inviting.
So dig in.
Dig in. This looks delicious. So anybody who came to Africville would
Have corned beef and cabbage on Sunday when they came up to Africville. Yeah.
Wow.
And usually after church, right?
Right,
We have a
okay.
church service.
Yeah.
Growing up in Africville was good. We had chores and whatnot to do after school, and you couldn't go outside until you had your clothes, school clothes off, and you did your chores, and then you could go play.
Now, for the most part, church is the foundation for most Black communities. Tell me a little bit about your community. What is the foundation for yours? And also, she said, and do chores. In my household, anytime you heard gospel music blasting or any type of 60s, 70s, old school R&B blasting, it was time to get up and clean. So tell me, does that resonate with you? Is yours a little bit different? Please explain to me in the comments. I want to know.
And we played marbles, we skipped, we had double dutch, we swam. I can't swim. I wasn't allowed to go to the water. I was small. And we fished. The community out here fished. And when they go in the basin here, and we got everything, lobsters, mackerel, periwinkles, mussels, and eels. And then they would come in with an abundance of fishing, and they would share it in the community. Because we had icebox then. You couldn't have free refrigerators, so you didn't want it to rot after spending hours out there fishing. So they shared it in the community, especially with the seniors who could.
Okay. I know I'm doing a lot of pausing here, but please bear with me because this video is making me think about my grandmother so much. She said fishing. Oh my God. I remember growing up with my great grandmother, and after my grandmother was a Jehovah's Witness. So, after service, sometimes, not all the time, we would go and do a little bit of fishing, and she'd take us grandkids with her, and we would always just sit back and just ask questions and enjoy those times with Granny fishing. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed fishing as well, and if fishing wasn't your thing, what was your thing?
Get out. It was our way of life, and everything was free. We didn't have to pay, So it was nice growing up in Africville. It was just peaceful, very peaceful. And you didn't have to, we could go to anybody's door and knock on. You didn't have to worry about the things we worry about today with our kids, right?
Right.
You weren't afraid to go. If you had a scratch or a sore, you could go to somebody's house and they would patch it up for you.
Yeah.
Because wait for your parents to come home. Most of the women worked in service or at the hospital or at the Stadacona. My mother worked at the Victoria General Hospital, which was in town, we call it. And this particular day, she worked from 8 to 4, and at the VG Hospital, they have these benches outside, and they still have them today out there. And this white lady and her 4-year-old daughter was sitting on the bench. And in Africa, we would always greet you. We'd say good morning and hi, which my mother did. So my mother went to work and came back, and the lady and her daughter were still sitting there. And so my mother said to her, hello, dear. She said, dear, have you been sitting here all day? And the lady said, yes. She said, dear, have you eaten? And the lady said, no. She said, come with me. 4 months later, she stayed with us in Africville, around the turn. And how I remember that, because every time my mother brought home somebody in need or she thought was in need, I had to give up my bed. So those stories I'll always remember.
See, do you hear the heart of this person, the heart of people? Anytime she felt like, someone was in need, she was there to help. Let me know, do you think that type of mindset in people today has left, or do you think it's still there? Tell me your thoughts about this video. Tell me your thoughts about the message given. Be sure to like, share, watch more videos, and subscribe to the channel.